Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've made a video for the Paladin series. As you guys know, I've been waiting for the Awake patch. So now that the Awake patch is here, I figured I'd do a little bit of an update on what I've done with the character and what are my goals moving forward. So the first thing I want to talk about is the new 5th job skill. Of course, with the Awake patch, everybody has got a new 5th job skill, which is really nice. So this new 5th job skill for Paladin is pretty solid. It's really good for training and it adds a lot of damage during the fight because it has a pretty short cooldown. I'm pretty happy with the new 5th job skill. But of course, the most important thing about this patch for my character in particular is the fact that the alien set has been broken. So if you guys remember in the previous video, we were originally running 2 alien fragment necklaces. And with the new Awake patch, what has happened is that any 2 equips with the same name only count once towards the set bonus. So this is pretty important for those who are using Golix equipment. 2 superior Golix necklaces are no longer applicable for the set, so they had to change their loadout. And the same thing has happened here, where I had 2 fragment necklaces and they only count once towards the set. So as I mentioned in the previous video, we've changed it out. You can see here I've replaced my Yame's treasure belt with the alien fragment belt, and we have got it potentialed up to unique with more or less 2 lines, so it's at 14% right now. And it's 10 starred, so ideally I want to get this to 12 star, but it's kind of low on the list because the alien fragment pieces are pretty expensive to star for, so I'm leaving this for the time being. And of course for the other necklace I have used the Mechanator Pendant, and it's hit up to legendary along the way, and currently it's sitting on 9% strength right now. I'm keeping it at this because I don't have enough damage anyway to clear Chaos Vellum, so I'm just keeping the Misos obtained, so as I train at least I can get a little bit more money as I go around. So my current goal with my equipment is to get my CRA gear to 15 star. Currently my helmet is at 11 and my top and bottom are both at 14. So the way that I try to get them to 15 is try to get them up one at a time. So I think I focused on the helmet to get it to 13, and then I moved on to the next piece to get it to 13, and then the next piece to 13. So kind of like getting them up 1 star at a time. That way I don't risk going all in on one equipment to have one 15 star and the other 2 being at 10 or something like that. Right now my goal will be trying to get this helmet to 15, and once that hits 15 then I can try to get this to 15 and then this to 15. And the worst case scenario is that at least I'll have 1 or 2 pieces that are still 14 to 15 star. So after getting all the CRA gear to 15 star, I'm probably going to try to see if I can get more pieces to 2-line unique. I kind of don't want to put the equipment up to 2-line unique because it's quite expensive, and the problem with getting 2-line unique on the armor is that they have a lot of junk lines. So when we try to roll for 2-line unique on those, it can be pretty expensive. So we'll have to see how that goes. Probably if I try to get anything to unique, it'll be the gloves and the shoes. But even then, it's a bit of a waste because these are more or less filler equipment anyway. But if I'm really desperate for the damage, then I'll have to do that. So of course, to fund all of this, I'll have to be doing my weekly bosses. So ever since we got our 3 CRA gear, we've been able to clear a lot of the weekly bosses quite comfortably now. Von Bon goes down pretty easily. I can consistently do Von Bon without running out of time, even if I die once or twice. For Clown, I can do the split pretty reliably now, because at least during the burst, before he splits, I can take him down a lot lower, and then I only need to hit each of the clowns maybe 10 times each, before I can die, respawn, and then kill him. For Queen though, I still have a little bit of trouble. I think that's more of a mechanical thing than a damage thing. I did fail Queen maybe twice when trying to clear it this week, but eventually I did get the clear. I actually have enough damage, so where even if I get killed by at least 1 mirror, I should still have enough damage to clear it before time runs out, so at least I have that little bit of insurance. As for the other weeklies, I can do Chaosakim. It takes a little bit of time, but not a big deal. The only issue that I have with Zakim is that because of my high ping, I do sometimes die to the hands. I think on one of my streams, I died to the hand when my character's on the other side of the map, so it happens a few times, but for the most part, it's not a terrible fight. Normal Empress, of course, we can clear pretty reliably. We did that in the previous week as well, and same goes with Hard Healer. Hard Healer, actually, at this point, I can do in almost 1 burst, which is really nice, so I don't have to deal with her cage mechanic. And the last weekly boss that I can do is Chaos Pink Bean. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely hate this boss, especially when you're doing it with low damage. It's just the statue phase where, for Paladins, you can't actually reach the one in the middle without going onto the top platform, and you just keep getting pulled down by the Pink Bean. And it just takes so much time. Like, just that one statue takes me 5 minutes to kill. It's not even like a mechanics problem or a damage problem. It's just, you just can't hit it. It just keeps pulling you down, and it's really frustrating. I absolutely hate Chaos Pink Bean for that reason. For most other classes, I'd imagine you can reach the statue from pretty much anywhere, but for Paladins, you gotta be right on the top platform to hit her. So, I'm considering just skipping Chaos Pink Bean to save myself the disappointment of just spending a long time killing the statue. With all that said and done though, when we finish all our weekly bosses, we get about 300 to 400 mil, which is a nice amount of income. So we can do a lot of things like cubing, and we can Starforce our gear pretty nicely. So that's what I'm going to be doing off camera, trying to get my CRA gear to 15 star. My advice with regarding to Starforce for you guys is that ideally you want to do it on event. Nexon likes to do something called Sunny Sundays, where you can get discounts on Starforcing, whether it be 30% off, or a 2-for-1, or the 5, 10, 15 event. I think it's fair that I can take advantage of these events because they do come quite often. But at the same time, I want to kind of progress this series to the point where I can do CVL without waiting for events. Despite the fact that ideally I would wait for a Starforce event to get stronger, I'm just going to do it off event so then we can progress this series faster. So that's all I wanted to talk about regarding my gear and bosses and whatnot. And so I want to talk a little bit about what I'm going to try to do moving forward. So the first thing I need to do is to train to 215. That's absolute the first and most important thing, I believe, because of 2 reasons. The first reason is that, of course, we get a new slot as soon as we hit 215, which is great. But what's more important is what I'm going to be putting into the slot. So for what I'm going to be putting in the slot, it's going to be Weapon Aura. So this is another 5th job skill that all warriors can access. And Weapon Aura does a few things for me and my solo progression. The first thing is that it gives a nice amount of IED. I think it gives like 10%, and also it gives a nice amount of damage as well. It's probably one of the easiest ways for me to get a lot of damage for the CVL fight, because CVL has a lot of armor, so more IED will be preferable for the fight, and Weapon Aura is just one of the easiest ways for me to do it. So I can actually craft this right now. You can see here, it ignores 10% and gives more final damage, and then has a aura wave that does damage as well. And it has a pretty good uptime. It has cooldown of like, there we go, 3 minutes, and it's up for just under 1.5 minutes. So it has a decent amount of uptime, and we'll definitely need this for our CVL run. So that's the first step, trying to get to 215 so I can use Weapon Aura. For anybody who isn't playing a warrior and can't get Weapon Aura, an alternative is to get the Luminous Link. So for the Luminous Link at level 120, it will give you 15% IED, which is comparable to the Weapon Aura. Or if you're like me and have a 210 Lumi, it will give you 20% IED. So depending on what level your Luminous is, you can get a nice amount of IED, and this will definitely help. But of course, for this character, I won't be using it, but I'm using this as an example. Another way to get some more IED is to train up Mage classes. You can see here, if you have any level 120 Mage, you can get a level 2 Mage Link skill. And you can do this up to 6 times. So you can get 1 Bishop, 1 Ice Lightning, 1 Fire Poison. You can have a level 6 Mage Link skill, and it gives you a fair amount of IED as well. And lastly, for IED, you can do more things for your Legion. There are a lot of different characters that give IED, including things like Beast Tamer, and I believe Blaster give you IED as well, so they give you, some form of extra ignore enemy defense. And if your Legion is big enough, you can also put blocks into the ignore defense block to get that more IED for the fight. So anyway, that's pretty much the updates with this character. It might take a while for my next video because I'm pretty slow when it comes to training. I like to take my time, and I don't really like sitting down just grinding. Because of the Awake event, we can actually coin cap, so I'll be capping coins on a lot of my characters to give the coins to my other characters. So for my Paladin, I'm going to be capping coins here for 2 reasons. One is to get the coins for my main and my Kana. And for itself, of course, I'm not participating in any events, so I won't be buying anything like Node Stones or Arcane Symbols on this character. But I have allowed myself to work towards the unit damage skin. So don't worry about me coin capping on Paladin. It's mostly for cosmetic reasons, and also to make my other characters stronger. So I figured, might as well coin cap on this character. Not a big deal. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Mostly just an update, not too much gameplay, but hopefully we can get to the point where I'm strong enough to take down CVL. If you guys want to keep up with the updates on my Paladin, I am trying to stream a little bit more frequently. I haven't set aside a schedule for streaming yet, but just check in on the channel every once in a while, see if I'm around. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. I'm going to be releasing more Kana videos quite soon, and I will probably stream my Terror Burning progression. So if you guys are interested in that, check in with the channel. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a nice day.